Howdy there folks, today we're going to take a look at the Ruger American Gen 2. Now I put this rifle through some extreme testing and I'm here to show you the results. We're going to take it out to the range all the way from 50 to 100 to 800 yards and later on maybe even beyond. Okay, we are going to shoot that 308 Ruger Gen 2 at 200 yards, 300, and then we'll go 4. We'll just go 1.5 MOA for 200. Just that parallax, middle gong there. All right, first round hit. Velocity on that, 2755 again. All right, 300 yards, Ruger American Gen 2. We're gonna go 4 MOA. 150 grain SSTs are flying good out of this gun. We'll go on the circle all the way to the left. First round hit. Velocity on that was 2750. All right, 400 yards, Ruger American Gen 2. I'm actually guessing holdover. Hitting them though. I really love the aesthetics of this rifle. I love the fit and feel of everything but the magazine system. I didn't have any problems with it feeding or ejecting, and the rifle is extremely accurate. So overall, I do like the rifle. I just would like to see a little bit more intuitive and easy to use magazine system. Ruger American Gen 2 308, trying the Hornady ammunition here. This is the Hornady Custom 308 Win 150 grain SST factory ammunition here. Got the Ruger American Gen 2 using the Vortex Viper HD 3-15 by 44 rifle scope. Now, a lot of people ask me, why do you load some of your rifle mags like a pistol mag? Well, a lot of these polymer single stacks, it's actually kind of hard to load them by just pushing them straight in, and it can bend and wear out the feed lips as well as deform your brass. They're not all made like AR-15 mag. One thing I noticed with this is that sometimes the magazine's tough to go in. That time it went in just fine. Nice smooth bolt there. 3-position safety. Second target from the left center red circle. Very hot day today. Didn't take a round up. There we go. So one flyer there, probably a 2-inch group, not great. And it's an extremely hot day, probably 85 degrees out here, bright sun. Got the True Ballistics chronograph here. Pretty cool, it's really nice. What's better about this than the Garmin is that it has multiple Doppler radars instead of one, and it can calculate BC's downrange and give you more ballistics data. Also has a little sight-in hole right there. Super easy to set this up. Tap that power button screen, tap it again to activate. It's really that simple, folks. You can also tilt up and down for elevation adjustment. All right, folks, now we're gonna try the Hornady Match. This is the 308 168 grain BTHP, or boat tail hollow point ammunition. Thanks to Hornady for sending some ammunition at this time. That first group was pretty bad, but it was the first group ever out of this rifle, and it might take some cleanings and some break-in, you know, to get this thing shooting good, or some just little adjustments. Now, the zero isn't perfect on this, it was just sighted in. So each ammunition is going to shoot a different point of impact, even given the same point of aim. Second target from the right upper left circle. Fairly light rifle here. Zero's a little off, but let's see how she groups. Pretty bad. Once again, 2 right on top of each other almost, and then 1 flyer. Could be the action screws need to be tightened. Could be the barrel's hot. 2-inch group again out of this Ruger American Gen 2. Velocities with that Hornady ELDM 168 grain ammunition was 2,527 feet per second. We're gonna take a look at the fit, feel, function of the rifle and give you the pros and the cons. Now, it's important to note that this is the Ruger American Gen 2 Gray Splatter 308 regular standard version. So this isn't the Ranch or the Predator version. We'll go over those later in the video. So let's go ahead and get started by taking a look at the buttstock. It comes with about a 1-inch thick, very soft, pliable rubber buttstock with some cuts in it to relieve pressure. Does a really good job mitigating felt recoil in my opinion. Then you have a large spacer that comes pre-installed on the buttstock, and you can remove that to make this a 12-inch length of pole for youth and women shooters. As it comes, it's 13.75 inches, which is pretty standard for a length of pole. Coming forward, you have a recessed metal sling swivel stud, that nice gray splatter paint job. Now that adds some texture and grip to it, which is nice if you're out in wet weather hunting. It does feature a pre-installed comb height that's basically a low comb height in my opinion, but gives you a little bit of a better cheek weld when you're mounting a scope and looking through it. This is removable. If you want to go really low with low scope mounts and a very plain Jane scope, you can do that and remove this. Also, there are other options available, so you can adjust that higher as well. Coming forward, you have a really traditional grip right here, pretty slim in the hand. It does have some texture in the polymer. This stock is polymer, by the way, and that allows you to grip it better when your hands are wet. No complaints really there. One thing that they did to improve this rifle is they added a 3-position safety, and I'm really excited for that. One of my biggest complaints with the Ruger American Gen 1 was it didn't have a 3-position safety. So what that means is if the rifle is cocked and you have it unsafe, all the way to the rear locks the bolt and you cannot fire it. One forward, you can remove the bolt or manipulate the bolt, load the weapon per se, and you cannot fire it. All the way forward, you can manipulate the bolt and of course, fire it. Coming a little bit further forward, you have a plastic polymer trigger guard and a detachable box magazine system. I don't like a polymer trigger guard or floor plate or bottom metal, okay? I get that it's a budget class rifle, but that's still a negative considering the price point is quite a bit higher than it used to be. It does feature a curved trigger blade with a center blade in it. It is adjustable from about 3 to 5 pounds, and this one comes in, we'll show you right here with a Wheeler trigger gauge, right at about 3.5, maybe just slightly above. It does have a little bit of creep, but you kind of have to really feel for it, and very little to no perceivable over travel. So pretty decent trigger, just a little bit of creep, but not bad at all. Then you have a all metal receiver, and it fits into an Accu V-block basically style bedding system, which is pretty good. So there's basically metal V-block bedding blocks in the stock, we'll say, and that sandwiches and marries against those, both where the front action screw is and the rear action screw is. So very good, stable bedding system on this rifle. It does feature a side bolt release on the left side. It's just a push lever. Really like that. And the bolt is machined out of all one piece. The bolt handle is threaded, so you can't easily replace that. It does come with a nice large round bolt handle, and I believe this is actually a real aluminum metal shroud. It's got 3 locking lugs, which allows this bolt to have a 60-degree bolt throw, which is quite impressive. Has a little extractor right here, the 3 locking lugs, and then a plunger ejector right there. Now, one other thing that they improved on this rifle from the Gen 1 is that really no perceivable zipper sound. The Gen 1 had a very noticeable zipper sound. They almost called it like the Ruger zipper sound or the Ruger zip. It was very noticeable, and it was because of machining marks inside the receiver and on the bolt body itself. That's all been fixed. It actually runs pretty smooth. Not as smooth as a Tikka or a Remington 700 or a Sako, but it runs smoother than, say, a Howa 1500 out of the box as far as the feel when it slides back and forth in that receiver. Also, you got some metal removed from the side of the receiver to remove some weight, and this comes in at about 6.2 pounds, by the way, and that's without a scope. I do have it topped with the Vortex Viper. This is a Vortex Viper HD, just came out. It's the 3 to 15 by 44, and by the way, love this scope. Great scope. But that weight is not included in the advertised weight as far as I know, so just something to keep in mind. That adds a few ounces. It does have a gray cerakote job on the rifle, as you can see both on the receiver and the barrel. The barrel is free floated. We're going to show you that right here. good free floating on the barrel, so there's no contact points. The barrel itself is tapered off to what I believe is probably a medium light contour. It's basically a typical hunting contour barrel. It does have a front metal sling swivel stud right here, pretty slim fore end on it, but it kind of cuts in right here so you can get a really good purchase on it when you're going to shoot the rifle, and it has lots of tech strings. Then coming forward, you have this beautiful spiral fluted barrel. Really nice spiral fluting, gives it a really nice aesthetic look and can allow your barrel to cool faster. It is threaded 5/8 by 24, and it does come with a matching cerakoted radial muzzle brake, which I actually do like, and I find it quite effective. And by the way, the 308, which this one is, comes in a 1 in 10 twist. Round 2, barrel's still a little warm, but we are in a hurry today. So we're gonna try some gold metal match. This is 168 grain federal gold metal match ammunition. Really good stuff generally. It isn't zeroed for this ammunition, but we're gonna see how it shoots for groups. We got the FX Outdoors True Ballistic chronograph here. Link in the description for that chronograph, as well as the Vortex Viper HD 15 scope. Second target from the left, lower left red square. Ooh, it's not liking that ammunition. All over the place. Velocity's 26.32. I know I'm flinchy today, but I am not that flinchy. It's about a 2.5 inch group there with the federal gold metal match. Surprising. On this Ruger, I wish the release lever for the mag was actually a paddle off to the side of the trigger guard or in front of the magazine. Kind of a weird little lever there, don't really prefer it. All right, we're gonna try one more group with this. This is the Hornady custom ammunition in this 308 in this Ruger American. We're gonna try one group, second target from the left. I'm shooting in such a quick sequence here, the barrels aren't cooling. I'm getting really fatigued really fast here. Upper left circle. I flinched on that last one. It likes that 150 SSTs, I believe. Probably right at 3/4 MOA, maybe 1 MOA. So Ruger American best group of the day, only shot a couple groups. And this was the Hornady custom 308 150 SST bullets. About 0.606. About a 0.606 group out of the Ruger American the first day, so not bad with factory Hornady SST 150 custom factory loads. Let's take a look at the magazine system. This is my one and by far my biggest complaint with this Ruger American Gen 2. It features a magazine system that has a magazine release in front of the trigger guard and behind the magazine right here. Well, it's not a very big lever for one, and so it's kind of hard to get a purchase on it, especially if you're in a hurry or trying to do it with your non-dominant hand. That's number one complaint. I really like a magazine lever or release that's in the front. It just seems more natural and intuitive to me. Number two is that when you go to release it, it pretty much sticks in there, okay? It's really hard to get this magazine that it comes with out. Now, you could get a longer magazine, it would probably be easier. This is the Ruger American magazine that came with the rifle. It has a capacity of 3, and so you can have 3+1 if you have one in the chamber, and it is AICS mag compatible. However, when you go to put this back in, you pretty much have to tilt the magazine back towards yourself in order to get it in, because the well is really tight and it just doesn't seem that intuitive. And then it's kind of stiff to get it in, and as you see right there, it didn't actually clip in place. It's in, it looks like it's in, it's kind of stiff, but it's not all the way in. So you really have to push down in and on it to get it to click in place, and that is kind of a pain. It's an issue if you're trying to change magazines quickly. That's a big issue in my opinion. I don't think they're all that way, but most of the ones I have tested have been this way. Not only do I not like the lever system, but the magazine itself is kind of a pain to get in, okay? So like if you go to put it straight in, you can, but you have to push towards yourself and then up, and then the back of the magazine near the clip to get it to work easily, okay? But who wants to have that much fuss? The one good thing about it is that it doesn't want to rattle around once it's in there, right? It's in there nice and stiff, which is kind of nice in a way. I'm probably overemphasizing this problem because when you're actually using it, it doesn't seem that bad. It seems worse here in the studio trying to you know, load and unload it, but it is something to note. All right, now we're gonna try the Ruger American Gen 2 308, 50 yards. We're using the Hornady ELDM ammunition in 308. These are 168 grain boat-tail hollow points. See what happened there. All right, let's see what happened. Definitely didn't go through at all. See, that last round was so high to the top, I think it didn't go through. That might have blown some like rocks out the other side. This 308 168 grain boat-tail hollow point ELDM ammunition out of the Ruger American Gen 2 did not make it through at all. Not at all. All right, we got the new Ruger Gen 2 in 308 Winchester, the new Vortex Viper HD 3-15 by 44, shooting 975 yards, 28 MOA of elevation here, almost zero wind hold today. All right, here we go. Ready? I flinched. So, like I mentioned earlier, this comes in 3 different models: the Ruger American Standard, the Ruger American Ranch, and the Ruger American Predator. The Predator has a 22-inch barrel, the Ranch has a 16.1-inch barrel, and the Standard, like this, has a 20-inch barrel. So you get a little bit lighter rifle and some of the other variations and more compact. Very, very nice rifle though. Shoots very, very well, and I did enjoy shooting it. Hope you liked this review of the Ruger American Gen 2. Thanks for watching Bullets for Bucks. Check out this next video and subscribe.